Welcome back to Canadian Justice, where we're talking with lawyer Ryan O'Connor about some of the untold success stories in vaccine mandate litigation. Now, Ryan, you've done a number of these cases, and I understand the details of some of those cases are pretty shocking and surprising. What can you tell us? What details can you give us?
Well, I can speak generally about matters that are before the court and not specifically about my clients, Christine, as you know. But I've seen cases, for example, where individuals who have complicated medical histories that prevent them from receiving any sort of vaccination, they provided, in one case, I'm thinking of provided medical exemption support from their specialists, from their family doctors, from local public health in one case. And yet that individual is still terminated from her job despite the fact that her job at a flu vaccine mandated, she was exempted based on the fact that she couldn't be vaccinated for anything. I represent an individual who, for cultural reasons, because she's an indigenous person, doesn't take any sort of medication, lives a more natural lifestyle, which is informed by her faith and her culture. She was terminated from her remote work position because she was unable to be vaccinated and therefore not able to comply with the policy. A lot of clients that I represent have sincere faith-based reasons why they're unable to be vaccinated. They're practicing Christians, Jews, Muslims, and their faith informs their inability to be vaccinated against anything, not just the COVID vaccine. And yet their reasonable requests for exemptions on the basis of human rights, the protection of their freedom of religion have been denied. I've represented COVID recovered students who have had medical and religious reasons why they can't be vaccinated, but they're also young and they didn't need to be vaccinated against COVID. They had already recovered or they're otherwise healthy. And it was just for them a flu bug. These individuals were, deregistered from university and are seeking recourse. So I've represented probably about 60 to 70 individuals in wrongful dismissal cases and many university students and college students in these cases. But the stories are sad, they're shocking. And for this to happen to anyone in the community just wanting to go to school or wanting to attend their job, especially for remote workers, the fallout is going to be long lasting for these people who've been unable to afford their mortgages, have lost their job, lost their livelihood, and frankly lost their ability to take care of their families. It's truly tragic, and we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we don't talk about is that in a lot of these cases, the employer, the university, to the extent that you've done student cases, they actually pay compensation to the to the person bringing the claim. These claims settle. So I think the mainstream narrative on this has been these claims are bogus. There's no case here, and that large case that we were talking about in the last segment kind of uh, fuels that narrative. But a lot of these cases actually, when you define success as a financial settlement, these are successful. What can you tell us about that? Like how many of these are actually settling that we just don't know about?
Well, most civil lawsuits in Ontario, Christine, as you know, settle. And employment cases have some of the highest rate of settlement in employment cases. An individual who's not union bringing a lawsuit against their employer for wrongful dismissal. What a lot of people don't know, COVID vaccine mandate or otherwise, is that it is incredibly difficult to terminate someone in Ontario if they're not unionized without paying them a severance. You can terminate someone for no reason, some reason, or even for a reason. But typically, and almost always, you do have to pay them at least their minimum legal entitlements, but oftentimes it's much more than that. There's a uh, there's one reason why we have not seen a single case go to court where a decision is rendered after trial in a vaccine mandate case involving a non-unionized employee, despite the fact that this has been ongoing for nearly 4 years. The answer to that is that there's been no case that's gone to court even though there's been hundreds, if not thousands, of these lawsuits, because presumably those cases are resolving. And while I can't speak specifically about cases in which I'm involved, I can say that there has been, in my view of these cases, there's been lots of success. Success ought not be measured by getting a favorable judicial decision. It's about achieving the right result for your client and for people that I don't represent who may have settled their cases. They've done so with the benefit of legal advice and hopefully have received some vindication in that respect.
What do you think the biggest misconception has been about these vaccine cases?
That persons who are unable to be vaccinated were out protesting every weekend of the pandemic, complaining about government, oftentimes rightly, I should say, given the pandemic overreaches. But But what people don't understand is these are regular people. They're your neighbors, they're your family members, they're your friends, they're other students at school. Everyone has very personal reasons why they were able to be vaccinated and comply with a mandate, or were not able to be vaccinated. And there's no right or wrong answer about whether or not someone ought to be able to be vaccinated. These mandates in employment
Mhm.
context, universities were the only medical mandates that we've ever seen, certainly in my
Mhm.
lifetime, as a
Right.
precondition of being able to work or go to
Right.
school.
We
These people
Ryan,
are normal people.
we've got to go to
Yeah.
break, but we'll be right back.